Hello and welcome to Wake Up with Dr. Cheryl. Wealth is the ability to fully experience life by Henry David Thoreau. I'd like to share something funny. A little girl was talking to her teacher about whales. The teacher said it was physically impossible for a whale to swallow a human because even though it was a very large mammal, its throat was very small. The little girl insisted that it was possible because, after all, Jonah was swallowed by a whale. Irritated, the teacher reiterated that the whale could not possibly swallow a human. Its throat was just too small. The little girl said, "Well, when I get to heaven, I will ask Jonah." The teacher asked, "What if Jonah went to hell?" The little girl replied, "Then you can ask him." The 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions. Always do your best. By Miguel Ruiz, The 4 Agreements. Our guest this evening is Gary Salyer, PhD. This is the second segment of our 2-part discussion with Gary. Because our show is about wealth, I chose tonight to discuss wealth in love, and that is where our guest comes from. Dr. Gary Salyer is a master transformational relationship coach who helps people create the shift in their brain in a very short period of time that allows them to have the amazing relationship they want and deserve. Dr. Salyer is a creator of the Safe to Love Again workshop and his various Master Heart trademark programs. He is also the author of the forthcoming book, Safe to Love Again, How to Release the Pain or Past Relationships and Attract Your Soulmate. An avid student of psychology and marriage and family relations, Gary comes to a relationship coaching by offering a unique blend of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, Bert Hellinger's family systems approach, and attachment theory. Dr. Salyer loves seeing the love lights come on in people. In his spare time, Gary enjoys walking, meditation, as well as reading in the areas of spirituality and anything new in the sciences.
About a year ago, all of my clients asked me to do and create a new program in the same month. That was last December. They all asked me the same thing. It was like the universe telling me where I needed to go. And they all said, "Can you have a workshop that can actually train us how to have a secure attachment style?" That's a lot to ask in a weekend.
A secure attachment
versus
style.
An anxious or avoidant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one that is able to pick Mr. Right or Ms. Right, the one that is able to keep love alive, that is not trying to get away or anxiously chasing after, afraid they're always going to leave, but is secure. That really, they don't take any BS in a relationship, they give none. They're clear communicators.
Yes.
That beautiful ideal. And the biggest thing is I'm probably the only person in the country that's doing this NLP, family soul work, and this science of how relationships develop. And I've been developing this, and I've got I've got a new retreat that I do where I literally go in and I did it in March, and it really just totally changed the way they did relationships, where we give them back the 4 feelings that a 1-year-old has that tells them they can be secure. And those 4 feelings become the new reference point for how they pick people, what experiences they give.
Will you share some
I
of
will.
Those 4 feelings
I
that
will.
you're mentioning?
I will, yes. And when a 1-year-old is doing their little thing on these tests, I just really set through, I go, there's no belief. So this is not a belief.
Yeah.
This is, the only thing that's online at 1 year are your feelings. That's it. So, and looking through the lens of developmental psychology and what I knew from some other things, the 4 feelings and the things they test for. The 4 feelings are you are welcomed with joy. This is a mother that just says, "Ooh, are you?" And is always going to.
And it's
say,
like the little doggy that comes to when you come home from work, and they're
Absolutely.
unconditionally loving you.
That's right. That welcomed with joy.
Yes.
Versus, "Hi, honey, I'm home."
Yeah.
That's not welcomed with
No.
joy.
No. Yeah.
The other one is worthy of having your needs met. People know they have the right to get their needs met, and then when they know that, they also give it in a relationship. The third one is cherished and protected. They know that if they walk away, someone's going to have their back.
Yeah.
And they are protected and cherished.
That's security.
Yes. And the fourth one is empowered to be your best self. Now, if you have those four feelings of really being welcomed in a relationship, your needs are valid and worthy, that you are cherished and protected, and you are empowered to be your best self, you feel secure. Take any of those four feelings out, and we don't care what's on the shopping list, a person will not feel secure. There will be some part that says, something doesn't feel right. You could have all of the shopping list from Cosmo,
Okay,
but
let
not
me
the
ask you a
feelings.
question. The shopping list is the list that you have of all the wants in a relationship. Okay, I just want to clarify.
Yes, the shopping list is, tall, dark, and handsome, makes $100K a year, or it could be very spiritual and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I had one person.
I just wanted to clarify that because, they say women love to shop. Well,
Yes.
But
yeah, you can have this, but it's the feelings. And I
Yes.
actually had a client come out of that workshop saying, "Thank you. You've just shown me a new map to find Mr. Right. I will go with the feelings I have versus this."
yes.
And she's doing way better now
Yeah.
at finding
I'm
she's
sure.
because it's a feeling, a gut level
Well, that's
feeling.
what it's all about.
Yes.
Our brain gets in the way.
Yes. So absolutely. And that's what I'm
to have
about.
the balance is the ideal situation, but
Yes, it
we
is.
don't listen. And our society is not nurturing to listen to the heart.
No, it's not.
And that's part of what my show is about,
Mm-hmm.
is changing that, especially around money. This is huge because,
Yes.
a lot of people, and it isn't just men, but it's women too, they put money first and not the love factor. And love is the most important. Relationships are the most important to save our planet, to save our humanity. So that's why I'm doing, and that's also why I wanted to have you on the show, because I think your information and your passion and your purpose is so valuable for people to know and learn from.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, what else are you doing with your book? You have a new book that you're.
Yes, I'm finishing up writing it. It's called Safe to Love Again: How to Release the Pain of Past Relationships and Attract Your Soulmate.
Yeah.
And the theme of that is actually giving people back these 6 rights and this new attachment style. Because people don't have the rights in their brain.
Now,
to have a better
what
experience,
do you
you have
mean
to
rights? I'm trying to, I'm asking these questions so also the viewers can understand. But rights, what rights do you mean?
People have the experience that their brain was given the right to have. So if someone wasn't given early on the right to have their needs met,
Okay. Yeah.
they will always be givers, 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 givers.
Yeah.
And then they'll get, and what happens is in order to get their needs met, they have to give in a way that manipulates, and then people feel yucky in relationships.
Yeah.
And so what we do is have to give them the ability to take, the right to take.
To receive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to receive.
To receive.
Because if you're always giving and you're not bringing back, it's like a fruit tree that never gets watered. It gives
Yeah, that's
driveled
right.
up
You're
fruit.
going to shrivel up and.
Yes. So so one chapter in the book is about restoring that right to have your needs met, the ability to
Can
take.
you give us one little key for that?
Well, one of the things that really is important is going back and working the little one, but realizing that there's no way I can truly give if I haven't received. That's almost an epiphany for these people, that you really cannot give unless there's something already there in the tank. And the other thing is, if you're a giver and giver and giver, I've never met a giver that didn't have an enormous grievance against their spouse, because there's a resentment that's built into the human equation.
Because
we know that some part knows the ledger is kind of this way.
Yeah, out of balance. Yeah.
You have to get their brain comfortable with having an experience that isn't about a grievance. What's it would be like in which there's no more of this, I didn't get what I wanted. I didn't get what I needed. And when they get the right to have a balanced ledger in life, it's an easier way to love. So that's the better deal you have to give the system.
Yeah.
The ability to take. So you can give. There's a lot of reframes for this, but that's
I'm sure.
that's one of the 6 rights, the ability to take. And now some people obviously have the other problem, and we have to give them the ability to give. That's a different.
Yes.
Yes. But that really works very well. I know one client that was always dating very spiritual people. And she couldn't understand why she kept picking men that were very spiritual, but they would always leave her. Well, when you don't have a right to exist, one place the brain goes to is it either becomes very intellectual or it becomes very spiritual. There's no ability to really be in the body. And these people tend to become those avoidant people we talked about. They're not wired for 220, they're wired for 110. And when she realized that her picker, because she grew up with a father who was avoidant, was constantly trying to find a man like that. But it was in that blend for her. On the list was spiritual. As long as they're spiritual, they're practicing Buddhists, they meditate, oh my God. But they didn't ever have the ability to make her feel welcome. When she went from looking at the list to how do I feel, she began to pick people who could be spiritual and also give her the same feeling that she really wanted. That was kind of an epiphany for her.
Yeah, and spirituality is also kind of a developed thing anyway.
Yes.
It's a learned, I mean, some people have it innately, but I think generally in our society it's a chosen learning process.
Yeah, the moment you say, in my workshops, I can say higher self, and I work with that. And sometimes I'll get people say, I wasn't expecting that out of a PhD.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, really?
Oh.
You know?
Well, they just didn't have the education, that's all,
Yes.
Education.
Yeah. We think it's all left side, but why can't the right side get in there?
Oh my gosh, we all need that left and right. I always say that women need to work more on their left brain a little bit more. I think that's what's happening right now because the pendulum has been swinging. Women are, and see, I was raised with androgynous. I was raised because I worked with my father. I hung out with my father. My mother wasn't always there, so I hung out with my dad. But my dad had some feminine qualities about him. So not that I'm perfect, I don't mean that, but I did learn how to exercise both sides. But I see now, in retrospect, and what's happening is like all these women are, getting their tougher side with business, and I think that sometimes it's too aggressive, but it's the pendulum. It's the pendulum. And that's okay. I mean, they've got to exercise their male. And men, in fact, I ran into a man the other day. I was having problems going up a stair because of my problem. Yeah. And I believe it or not, I had 3 men, and I said, oh my God, this is wonderful. You're all gallant, and you're a gentleman, and you're wonderful. And I got to the top of the stairs, and I said, gallantry isn't lost. And he goes, I think we're taking a bubble bath. And I had to laugh because
that's funny.
I thought, well, women are part of that too because they're so using their male side of trying to get their masculine part of their yin and yang together that men are like, what do we do? I guess we got to take a bath and we got to figure out what to do. By exercising that feminine qualities, the yin qualities. So I find it very interesting watching what's going on today.
Yeah, we are doing a big social experiment with evolution.
It's huge.
We are.
It's huge. I mean, I get overwhelmed sometimes of what's going on out there, not just, like in the relationships, but the power thing that's going on outside of here, and I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this show is about. Yeah. But it's like, it's like wake up men, wake up to your feminine side. And it's okay to express your feminine side. Have you seen the movie Femme?
I have not seen the movie Femme. Tell me about it.
Well, I interviewed Emmanuel Etier and also Dr. Bolin, and I just love what he's doing because, he's an example for men to exercise their female side, and
Yes.
it's okay. And one thing, and I know she's a rebel. What's her name? She was one of the first feminists. I know you know who she is. I just slipped her name. I haven't seen her for a long time.
Yes.
And she was in there. She's one of the she is the first feminist.
Gloria Steinem?
Yes, she said, and I think this is just great. She said, if men had the opportunity to take care of the children and the family, they would do it the same way. They would have the opportunity to exercise that nurturing side because they have it in there. It's just that our society has not nurtured that. The media, on and on and on.
Yes.
The cultures in the East, and and so they haven't been able to nurture that part of themselves. So it's really interesting what is going on. This is a phenomenal time in our lifetime right now.
Yeah.
In trying to get that balance, because look what's happening all over the world. And I look at it because I've been in the corporate and in the financial, and also being a minister.
Yeah.
I've looked at that and I think, oh my gosh, the men have been so focused on that male energy and the money and success, and that's not all there is to it.
No, there's not.
It's not. And look at how many heart attacks they have, how many strokes they have, because they're not nurturing that internal heart and female side. So I'm just loving what's going on, actually, even though there's a lot of transformational garbage that's coming up. And I shouldn't call it garbage, but it's just
Yes.
the stuff has to come up, for it to be healed.
And the thing is 40, 50 years ago, we were okay with utilitarian relationships. I mean, they did a poll in 1939, and what were the top 5 reasons women married? Love was number 5. 5. It was not even in the top 4.
Yeah. Men take care of women.
That's right. Now today we're asking for far more. And so if a man comes, back then, caveman was pretty good. Caveman wiring was fine.
Yeah.
But now women are wanting more emotional connections. Occasionally they think that we should come to them the same a woman does. That's not good either. But for men and women to truly be meeting this new higher standard, I have to come to the game with more of my feelings and be comfortable with that. They're not going to scare me to death. I can be man enough to deal with my feelings. And because for a woman, if you give her a relationship that isn't expressing your feelings, it's like a desert.
Yes,
It's
absolutely.
just, they don't, and the other thing is we run on feelings the same way. We just don't call it that.
And don't you think that, or feel,
Yeah.
don't you feel that it takes practice to do it? From a male perspective, it takes practice. It isn't something that's, because it hasn't been nurtured for centuries, it takes practice to be able to do that. And maybe it doesn't come out perfect the first time, or the second time, or the third time, but it just takes practice. But you need to feel safe enough with that partner, female, or male, whatever
Yes.
I don't want to be gender specific, because there's gay couples, whatever. But when you feel safe enough,
That's
then
right.
you can express yourself
That's exactly
emotionally.
Yes, and those feelings are what's running the show anyway. So if you deal with anything else, you're not being true, you're not being real.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I do think it is a matter of practice and getting comfortable with it. I can honestly tell you that I went into therapy in 1988, and the average amount of time it took for me to bring up something and really find out what my true feelings was, my therapist and I tracked this, was a month. Took me a month to figure out what my feeling was about something that was going on. Now, for most women, that's not going to take that long. Now,
Yeah.
now I've with practice, and I think a lot of that was maybe due to some things in my childhood, but a lot
Sure.
of it was, I was in a PhD program. It's all left brain stuff,
Right.
and I was an athlete, so you certainly, you don't have feelings there in college. Now, I would say if I don't know it instantaneously, I pretty much know how I feel within a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
But you've been practicing
that-
for how long?
that's 25 years of
Yeah,
really
wow.
repatterning my
Yeah.
brain.
I applaud you.
But I look back and I go, I can't imagine how could I navigate my life if I had a delay of 30 days for everything I feel, because now I trust my guts to guide me. And my intuition is more important to me than just the logic.
Absolutely.
In fact,
Yeah.
the intuition's role is to lead the intellect. It's a better guide.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's where
Yeah.
women have been able to practice that for centuries. It just comes more natural, I
Yes.
think, and accepted in the outside world. It's just, we do it. But you know what? I've also had to learn how to trust that,
Yes.
through experiences. I've had to learn how to trust that. I've had some negative experiences where I thought I was listening to my intuition, but I was listening to my ego.
It's amazing how that happens, isn't it?
And so, I've had some major lessons in the last few years on trusting my intuition. And sometimes I think, okay, is this right? I think, no. And then I think the next situation, is this okay? No. And I'm thinking, okay. Well, but the next one will be okay. It's like, so it takes practice. It takes awareness. It takes listening.
Yes.
When you have that higher self in alignment.
It is a still small voice. I know of no meditation or religious tradition that didn't somewhere say it was a still small voice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So tell the viewers what you can share with all your wisdom and what you're doing, and because we're almost coming to the end, which is going fast.
It has gone fast.
Because this has been a wonderful conversation.
I think we're in an age where one thing I've noticed with my clients is that in the last 3 to 4 years, more people are coming in not just to deal with their fears, but to get in touch with their higher self. They may say, what's my purpose in love or in life? And what I am finding out is that the people who are more into their intuition and have you can call it meditation or spirituality or higher self source. If you have a connection with that intuitive field of information that is loving and caring, that will guide and give us resources, those people have an easier time rewiring their brain because they're getting resources from that field of wisdom and love that's around us. We are always trying to bring resources back to that stuck state. And remember I talked about the brain having 97-3 over this part.
Yes.
So that's not fair. What balances it is when this part of our brain gets in touch with all the resources over here. Suddenly that 97% of the subconscious gets balanced out by higher self.
And this is the pituitary.
Yes.
Which is also the intuition.
Yes. So when people really say, I've been doing this my whole life, I've got this pattern, how could I possibly change it? It's, yes, if you do it the same way, but what if you could balance it with this, what we call spirituality, higher self? Yeah. It truly, and I am just noticing that this is, we're going from the age of reason to the age of consciousness.
Amen to consciousness.
Yes.
Oh.
And this is going to change the way we are doing relationships. I think it will change eventually things beyond this. The world, economy, and we need to.
And thank God for, in fact, I keep seeing this, thank God for the Dalai Lama. He keeps saying, I keep getting this message that the Western women are going to change the world.
Yeah.
But I think the Western men too, because they're also awakening. They're awakening to the same thing.
And that's almost a metaphor for what he's really saying is that beautiful right side of our brains that's intuitive and can really reach out to this, That's the gift of the female to the male.
Yes.
It's really a neurological metaphor for this whole thing with intuition that women carry so beautifully, and spirituality. When men are given that freedom to do this, this world will change.
Absolutely.
And in that respect, love and relationships really is behind this global engine of change, because
Absolutely.
we need that connection with each other to power all the change in consciousness.
Oh my goodness.
That will change all we see with the economy, with ecology, all of this stuff.
Everything.
Everything changes when love and relationships allow consciousness to truly bring us to a higher level of consciousness.
And that is your profound statement.
Thank you.
I love it. That's great. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much
Thank you, Cheryl.
for being on my show. Our show. It's not my show. It's our show, because I couldn't do it without my wonderful team. Thank you, team. Thank you, Marin TV.
And thank you.
And until the next time,
Until the next time, Cheryl. Blessings.
blessings to you too. Well,
That was all 45 minutes?
that was 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
I'll leave you with this. Wake up to the truth of what is going on with humanity outside of yourself. On our planet, look at the crisis of water, contaminated, compromised food, and the air we breathe. Never give up wherever you are and doing in your life. Work with integrity and have a positive attitude, first and foremost with your family and friends. First be aware and conscious of your negative thoughts, and catch yourself before they even come out of your mouth. Be grateful for who you are and where you've come from and what you have, and be grateful for your freedom, and eat healthy. Good nutrition feeds the mind, your body temple, and don't forget to exercise. Feed your spirituality with meditation and prayer. Thank God with unconditional love. Love yourself unconditionally. Stop criticizing, judging, and allowing others to dominate the way you feel and think about yourself. Be compassionate and share your abundance and wealth with others. When fear knocks, let faith answer the door. Money is like love. It kills slowly and painfully the one who withholds it, and enlivens the other who turns it on his fellow man. By Kahlil Gibran. You are what you are and where you are because of what has gone into your mind. You can change what you are and where you are by changing what goes into your mind. By Zig Ziglar. If you